It's an acoustic guitar, and the strings that it came with were very noisy when you were changing from chord to chord, in particular bar chords, known as string noise. So I've already changed the strings to some what were called silken steel, but I weren't happy with those either. They were quite noisy. So what I've gone for is these Diodario flat tops. Now, what that basically is, the strings, the thicker strings in particular, are wound around another string, and then they're actually filed off. You can't feel the facets, but it takes off that edge. It kind of blends the strings in. So when you're running it from one bar chord to another, you don't get that squeaking noise. Well, you get a little bit, but you just don't get as much. It reduces it by at least 80% by what I can see so far. Now, what I liked about these Diodario strings, when I took the packet out, they were all together in this one single pack. But I like the colour code here. Now, you've got to observe the colour code very, very carefully, because that dark there, which is black, can look a little bit like the purple. Now, that's not a criticism. All it is just to observe them very carefully. Obviously, you can see this green one where my finger is that corresponds to that, to the third string. And let me just show you the other ones. There's the other ones. I've got strings. I've got strings 2 and 1, the thinnest, highest string, E string. Tells you there on the pack, the first string, second, and so forth. So I quite like these so far by what I can feel with them. I've never used them before, so it is a first for me. But I do need to reduce the squeakiness of the strings, because when I'm recording to a digital audio workstation like GarageBand, the squeaking is really going off the scale. So I'm just going to move that down there. As I say, I've taken the strings out. I've already changed 3 strings, a thicker string, 6, 5 and 4. So what I do is I start with the thinnest string, because once I'm winding it round here, the other strings can get in the way if I start at the top. So I start off there, but I never take all the strings off at one go. That's too dangerous. It'll affect the truss rod that runs inside there. I don't know if you can see that. Inside there, there's a metal rod that runs the whole length of the fretboard, and that keeps its straightness and its ability to flex a little bit. And that affects the action of the guitar. Now, the action of the guitar is the strings to the frets there. Can you hear it? Now at the 12th fret here, where the 2 dots are, it should be approximately 3 millimeters. I actually like it a bit less than that, but you've got to be careful. If it's too low, you'll get fret buzz, string buzz. Now, obviously, it's a bit difficult for me to thread it as I'm recording, but what it is, I've put in string 1. I've got the first string here. Hang on, let's move this one. I've just put string 1 on. No, I haven't, sorry. I've just taken string 1 off, beg your pardon. So I loosened the string first, unwound it from the peg, from this peg, and then I pulled this out. So you've got to unwind it first, and then you pull the peg out. And that's what it looks like. And the peg inside, hang on, it's because I'm live here. I don't know if you can see there, this peg has got a little ridge inside it. Can you see that? And what that does, as you put the string in there, I'll just do this, I'll demonstrate with this green one. The string goes in there like that, okay? And then that little groove on that peg corresponds with the string like that. So when you push it in and push it down very tightly. And then you can pull that, take up the slack, and then feed it through the hole there. And then to tighten the strings, you tighten them anti-clockwise, which is different on either side. It can be confusing, so stick to anti-clockwise, take it real easy. And I always make sure that I thread it through and then make sure it goes through this little groove here on the 0 nut. I call it 0 fret, but it's actually called the nut. This is the nut, and it's got 6 little grooves in it. So I make sure that is like that, and I make sure there's enough slack under here to put my whole hand in before I start tightening it. Because you've got to have that, a little bit of slack, not too much, but you know, to get your hand on like that, good and proper, so that when you start winding it round, there's enough to actually go around 2 or 3 times underneath. So the little surplus sticks out at the top, and you wind it underneath that, so it kind of pushes up and taut against it. So I can't comment in terms of what these Deodari or flat tops actually sound like, because as I say, it's a new one to me. I've never actually tried them. But because I'm trying to record without any squeaking, that I've plunged for these. They can be more expensive than the ordinary ones. These are about $15.99, so it's nearly double the price. But if you need to get rid of, and I've got light gauge here, as you can see. So I'll just show you on my other guitar. I'm actually stripping some strings off this guitar here. They've got an old, this was just a system that I was trying years ago. I was inventing a system of colour coding for strings, and it worked very well actually. And I had it on the side as well there. So I'm just taking these off. This is an electroacoustic guitar, as you can see on the side there. And I quite like that. So anyway, I'm taking them off and putting the strings that were previously on this guitar onto that guitar, and then putting these new flat tops onto this guitar. So anyway, that's as much as I can really explain there. Oh, on this guitar, look, it's got an inbuilt tuner, and that's very good. And it's a Tanglewood guitar. There we go. And that's where I keep this capo. And these whiskers, I will be cutting these off short, otherwise they stick in your fingers. I cut them off and bend them down inwards away so you don't get caught with your hands. Oh, and as you can see, I keep a plectrum under there as well. So anyway, thanks for looking in on the video, live video. I don't think I've got any viewers, but you might watch it on the replay. Subscribe and look out for my next videos. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.